Welcome to my channel. It's that time of year again where we get into the spooky builds. So heading over to last year's build where we had a spooky pumpkin patch complete with some dudes dancing around a cauldron here. And also on this main island we have the year before last haunted mansion that we built over here. Ugh, if I could fly. But yes, there is my haunted mansion from 2 years ago, and we just keep adding on to this main area every year in our forever world, where we just keep building on the Halloween builds. This year, I plan on building over here, I'm lost, across this bridge. If you go straight, you make it to the spooky haunted pumpkin patch, but we're gonna go ahead and make a quick right over here, where I have a little area I'm gonna make a haunted grove. Right here, we've gathered some of the supplies we're going to need. I have not pre-built this. So I'm definitely going to do this as I go along. So I just gathered a lot of things I thought I would need. But when we head this way here, we have a nice little valley between two hills where I've made a pathway. And then it just opens up into this big valley. Previously in the past, I made the arch there, but I'm going to convert that as well. I'm going to leave it. I like it. I'm just going to convert it to the new palette, which we're going to go for the grays and all the stuff that they gave us with the Pale Forest, and we're going to add that all in there. The Pale Forest update came out last year after I'd already done my Halloween build, so I went ahead and saved it for this year, and I'm just going to go ahead and convert this whole savanna into the pale gray. It would have been nice if it already if I had already had that biome, because it looks so much better with the sky. It's a lot spookier. But again, when I started this haunted area, this spooky area 2 years ago, it just didn't exist yet. So we got to work with what we have. So I'm just slowly painting over it, and with the moss and other textures. If I'd have been smart, I probably would have just started with bone mealing it all into moss, but I had so much moss I didn't even think about it. Eventually I do convert over to bone mealing it in when I do run out. But I just wanted to quickly paint this whole area into a new biome as a backdrop to what we're working with. It's almost like a painting. You got to start with the backdrop and then slowly add in step by step as you go. I got some wall there I'm going to throw across the back to kind of close in this little section. I'm almost doing it like my haunted grove is kind of infected. There will be some green trees in the middle that are slowly turning gray to match the rest. And of course, I got to plant a lot of trees. I got to make some custom trees. But we're just slowly transferring that over, and I am leaving some green on my arch there, but I did get to add in the new moss and the new leaves. And here we go. Let's take a look. Mostly done. I still want to add to the back wall of the little area. Kind of just closing in its own biome and keeping it all in that area, so the gray doesn't really expand too much, at least for this season. I do have some patches left, and I do want to do some more work to kind of blend the two areas together with my pumpkin patch from last year. And then I need to add in some more colors, like some black, and I'm probably going to have to add in some green because there's just not enough gray textures to make enough plants. But this is looking really good to start out with. I do have a lot of work to do though, and a lot of little mini updates. And I've also decided that right here I'm going to put a little gate and use the new copper as well. I do not know what to do with these trees yet. I like them because from the other view they block your view of last year's build and keep it kind of secluded as well. A creeper blew up in the hole there. Forgot about that. That kind of made me mad. Anyway, for the gate, I just kind of want to throw up some of the copper here. I want it to be a fairly simple kind of gate, kind of spiky. As you kind of see with haunted mansions and stuff like that. So I do want to get some stone bricks for that part, someone actually tried to brick off this grove because it became haunted. So let me throw some of those in there and see what we come up with. Okay, the basic gate is laid out with all the new copper stuff, and I've cut some of the trees here as well so that we can extend the gate around and connect up with maybe some more wall, filled in our creeper hole, and move some of the texture out here as well. It's been a few days IRL, and we have some more updates. We've definitely added in some more custom plants, as well as some corals, a lot of different dried corals to give us some plants. I kind of forgot about those at first, so I do have some more gray plants than expected. And right now I'm going to try to make a tree out of some black stone to throw in another level of tree. I already did some white pale wood fence posts with the pale leaves, so now I'm going to try to do one with blackstone to see how that looks. We just kind of want to add in a lot of different plants for the biome that aren't green basically. So I'm just going to work on that and get a few of those in and go from there. I think from this angle, the Blackstone tree actually fits in really well. It doesn't really stand out as anything kind of weird. It blends in very nicely. And then if we look at it from over here as well, let's get over this way a little more. Yeah, it just blends in really good, kind of fills that gap with something different than another pale oak or another acacia trunk tree. So I think I like that. So I'm going to throw a few more of those in as well and see what we come up with next. I've hung a couple of the hanging signs, so I can write Haunted Grove on those, and I'm going to head in here now, and I think it's time to actually plan where we want the actual grove to go. But also here are some of the Blackstone trees that I threw in for some contrast. But anyway, so I'm going to just kind of throw out some logs here of where I want the grove to be. These grove trees, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to put the resin on them. I live in Florida, so we used to. We don't really anymore. But we used to have a lot of orange groves in my area, so that resin makes those orange trees really nice. So I think we're going to have some resin grove here. And I just kind of want to have a row of them like they would be if they were planted for actual, you know, production fruit trees, and get the feel of that. Then some of them will be green, some of them will have the pale oak as they are becoming infected by the trees around the outer edge and the outer wall. So I just got to figure out how many I want to do and go from there. I've changed my mind a number of times. I went from a single trunk tree, now I'm up to a 4 trunk tree, and I'm going to switch now from the pale oak to the acacia for the outer bark of the tree. You won't actually see the orange on the inside once the leaves are on anyway. And honestly, I'm honestly thinking I'm going back to the single trunk. They don't need to be this wide. But let's go ahead and jump ahead to the trees. All right, so now we have the grove installed. I do have a few more things to do, and we got to put the resin on there. But you can see that a lot of them are green, but there's some of them are slowly turning that ashen color of infection. And this one on the end here is completely already turned to a pale shade of gray. But let's go ahead and run through here and add in all the resin to make our oranges, putting none of it on any of the gray leaves, just on the green ones, and get that completed so we can move on to the next step. Now that this part is starting to look really good, full of the resin and lots of orange trees, let's not forget to do the top of the trees as well, because we definitely want to add some color up there for when we're flying by. Most of all these trees have connected together, which is why the infection can spread so easily across them all. But also we need to add in some lichen, because all these together is going to make it really dark underneath, and then the creepers are going to blow all my moss away. So definitely got to remember to do that as well. The next step is to collect a lot of firefly bushes. I want to place them under the soil, or the moss actually, underneath the moss and on top of the moss, so that we have a lot of particles in the haunted grove. So once we get quite a few of these made, we'll start sticking them everywhere, underneath, hidden, and out front as another plant. Might as well throw these in just to get that extra effect. Alright, so we're just going to dig down 2 blocks, place a firefly bush in, and then recover it back over with moss. I'm going to definitely put some over top on the moss itself, but at first I just want to fill in and get a lot of extra spooky particles before we actually have too many of the plants itself. And as we can see, we already have quite a few particles, and I haven't even put any plants on the top level of the moss as of yet. So I'm going to work on that, and then I will add in some especially over by the water, because these do kind of have a water plant look, but I'll spread them out as well. So I'm going to work on that and be right back. Okay, so now we have the biome looking pretty good here. We got everything changing over from the orange copper to oxidizing. It's oxidizing. We got everything oxidizing so we can decide, and there's a lot of particles in the air, so it's really starting to look like its own biome. We got some candles. Where am I? We got some candles up here. I feel like those add a nice little black touch for some extra colors in there. Well, colors, but darkness. All the lamps are starting to turn. We got the flowers. And I'm really just enjoying all the particles in the air. I even got this sad little guy here. So right now we have a nice overcast sky, so we can kind of look around in here. And we've got all the trees done with all the oranges on them, or the fruit. Another little sad little gas here. Some saplings. They'll stay that way since you have to be in a group of 4. And we have the little barrels to put all the oranges in when they get picked. So the grove is looking really good right now. We do need to spookify it some more with cobwebs and some ghosts. I'm going to do some ghosts. I think I want a big ghost right here. We can see him from across the way over there. But anyway, the biome itself, I think, is looking really good. It's so different than it was before. And then back here, I still need to put Haunted Grove on here. I don't think I want to block it off with any fences. Enter at your own risk, though. Haunted Grove. And then we have our ghost box. So we have some white stained glass, some snow blocks, obviously the cobwebs, and the banners. So we can build some ghosts and try to get this extra spookified. But overall, I'm really liking it right now. It's I definitely am liking the way it looks. It turned out really nice. I really like this little coral. That's great. I love the particles so much. It looks so good. And we got the coral blocks. We got the moss. More coral fans. The flowers are all starting to open up because it's dark in here. Up there is a scary zone because that's where the creepers spawn. I keep adding stuff, but they keep coming. But it's definitely getting really spooky looking in here with it getting more dark. But yes, now I saw red eyes. I think that's a spider. It's time to add these ghosts in and see how they look. I found these ghosts on Pinterest. I did not invent these ghosts. There were a couple different variations of them, but all fairly similar. A couple of blocks, either wool or snow or quartz or something, and banners, and then glass panes. Some of them were mostly glass panes, but I just decided to try to mix all of them together and kind of come up with the same ghost, but maybe slightly different. But I did not invent this ghost. So I've peppered a few of these around here. I'm trying to light them up with some glow lichen to kind of make them a little more ghostly. This one, they definitely need some extra. So let's pepper in a few of those and then move on to the main ghost. For the main ghost, I am going to primarily use a quartz and white glass. I'm going to start out though making it out of this moss so I can just throw together a quick organic shape and then replace it with the quartz as we go. Just kind of trying to fill out the shape of a ghost here without really getting in the way of the arch or the trees. But let's just kind of feel this out and see what kind of shape we can get and go on from there. Alright, this is the rough shape I'm starting with. Yes, it's just a blob, but once we fill it in with stairs and slabs and then encase it in a white glass, it will definitely start to take on a different look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, here is my ghost. I think he's super cute guy. He may not be super spooky, but he's spooky enough that if I ran into him in the forest, I would be scared. So this is what he looks like. And he's got a nice flame for a mouth, and he's a spooky guy. So I know it's late night on Halloween, but I thought that this would be a good time to go to the orange grove and, pick some oranges. But I haven't been there in a while, and for some reason they've got it labeled as haunted now. So it does look kind of odd in here, but I mean, I'm sure it's fine. What could there possibly be here in the grove? I mean, there's just gonna be what is that? What's that guy? There's just gonna be some oranges. I mean, there are an awful lot of spider webs, and it is awfully gray in here. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be picking oranges at late night on Halloween. I mean, what is that? Is that a ghost? No, that can't be a ghost. My mind is playing tricks on me, maybe. But there is a skeleton, so that is actually scary. What is that? Is that a big old giant ghost in the orange grove? No, I don't think so. I don't think that I need any oranges. I better go home. I shouldn't be out late at night. Was not a good idea. Let me just get out of here and maybe I'll come back in the day, or maybe I'll just go to the grocery store and buy some. I think this was a bad idea. I thought it would be fun, but I think it's a bad idea. Maybe they should put more than just a sign. Maybe they should put like a gate up. Which way do I go again? No, I'm not going that way. I think I went that way last year, and it didn't turn out too good. So let's go back the way we came, across the bridge. That way's home. So yeah. So guys, don't go to the haunted grove in the middle of the night. It's a bad idea. But also, are those zombies? Like, where am I, man? I just need to leave. Maybe, I don't know. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'm out of here.